Hi ladies and gentlemen, I am Vitold and this is a very exciting video in which I am directly comparing the new BMW F900 GS and the Honda XL750 Transalp, as they remind us to call it. I've ridden the 2023 version, while the 2025 and on version has a different front light, new standard windscreen, display and a slightly different suspension setting. It seems like the changes are minor and we may exclude the windscreen, as my bike has had a taller accessory windscreen anyway, so we wouldn't be able to compare the stock ones. Anyway, I've also ridden all other competitors of these two motorcycles, which puts me in a position of actually being able to tell you quite a lot in terms of how they differ and which one may be better for certain use cases and in given areas. The way this comparison will go is category by category, so some individual characteristics will be compared within themselves instead of judging the bikes as a whole. One bike will be better at handling, the other will be more fun in terms of performance, and it's your decision, guys, which aspect you consider more important yourselves. Based on that, you will be able to make an informed decision and know what to pay the most attention to, as in the end of the day, we are all different. Anyhow, moving to the specifics, I'm starting off with the first point on the list, which is engine and performance. Both motorcycles have two-cylinder inline engines, but Honda has 755 cubic centimeters, while BMW has more displacement with 895 cubic centimeters. The same goes for power, with 91 horsepower in Honda and 105 horsepower in BMW. And for torque, Honda gives you 75 Newton meters, while BMW comes with 93 Newton meters. Honda's engine is lively, but not as exciting as BMW's, definitely. It's not as explosive overall. Traction control is not calibrated well, especially outside of the sport mode. It's not that flexible and needs to be pushed to higher RPM at higher speeds to keep going reasonably well. But then above 8,000 RPM it is dying, so you are limited anyways. Quick shifter is very good though. There is a bit of vibration, a bit of heat too, but it's not a big deal. Now BMW has one of the most exciting engines now, which is super aggressive, especially in dynamic mode. There is smoothness and effortlessness. I truly value that a lot. Now this bike is awesome till 120 kilometers per hour, including fairly good flexibility when we look at the category it is in. Also, I've got to mention that it's got amazing transmission with probably the best quick shifter, so even perhaps a bit better than Honda's. Now on top of that, we've got almost perfect heat management of BMW. All in all, it goes to BMW in this area and it outperforms Honda visibly in terms of engine refinement and performance. The next point is handling, where BMW feels fine and it is easy to control, but so is Honda, being super neutral overall and under control when braking and accelerating in a curve as well. BMW does well here too when it comes to changing speeds in a lean. Both bikes are safe in terms of this. Now at higher speeds, Honda remains cooperative, while BMW needs to be convinced a bit more, in my opinion. Now at the lower speeds, Honda feels really easy to handle and is one of the best bikes in the segment in this area. The only imperfect thing happens at crawling speeds, the lowest speeds. That long front suspension may be the reason of a bit of a lack of control and delay in reacting to what you're trying to do with the bike. To me, Transalp is better than BMW and it is easier and more pleasant to handle, not by a lot, but it's the winner here. So let's move to suspension, which in BMW is with the Enduro Pro pack that gives it some additional equipment options and it gives some more possibilities in terms of adjustment than Honda, but well, who cares? Now for 2025, Honda claims that they've made suspension settings slightly different, but I'll stick to what I know for sure. But first, both bikes have 21-inch front rims, but then BMW has got a 17-inch rim in the rear, while Honda has an 18-inch one. BMW has tubeless tires, but Honda doesn't, and so there is an advantage for BMW. Honda initially feels rather comfortable and floaty when the terrain is not demanding, so the roads are nice and flat. If they're not, the bike becomes a bit nervous on larger bumps, and you will feel them more than you would expect. BMW is more balanced in terms of it feeling similarly most of the times, while Honda will differ a lot. BMW is also stiffer than Honda in my opinion. Also, front suspension dives more in Honda than in BMW, which is doing pretty good here, BMW. Suspension travel is larger in BMW with 23 centimeters in the front and 21.5 centimeters in the rear versus 20 centimeters in the front of the Honda and 19 centimeters in the rear. Ground clearance of Honda is 21 centimeters and we don't know BMW's. So there are some advantages on BMW's side and some on Honda's. None of them is in the end fully comfortable in the whole range of possible situations on the road. I feel that BMW gives more confidence, especially with so much adjustment in the Enduro Pro Pack, and Honda bails earlier when things start getting nasty. So in the end, I may still slightly prefer Honda to BMW. Yes, surprise. That's because on those better roads, I feel that Honda may give me more comfort than BMW, and I'm just a comfort-focused guy. Yet I totally see many riders preferring BMW, and that would be justified too, as it feels more solid and more predictable overall. Moving on to the next, which is seat and position comfort. Honda has a nice plush seat, while BMW has it harder but shaped fine, so that in the end you may sit comfortably on it anyway. In the case of Honda, that softer seat may cause you diving, sort of sagging into it, which helps reach the ground, but it may turn out to not be perfect for your bum, so keep that in mind. Short term, I think I prefer Honda's seat myself. It is also at 85 centimeters, while BMW has its seat at 87 centimeters, and that may be a significant difference to some. I'm 1 meter 83 centimeters tall, or 6 feet tall, for the record, and the best seat I've ever sat on is my 7G11 electric office chair from PowerSeats, from powerseats.eu. Highly recommend it for those that sit a lot at home or at their office. Check these out, and also some Rolls-Royce ones on the website powerseats.eu. Still, both bikes are on the comfy side to me. In terms of position, you are sitting mostly straight on both, but with a tiny lean forward on BMW. On Honda, the handlebar may be located a bit too close to the rider in my opinion. Also, there is a raised handlebar on this BMW with the Enduro Pro Pack, so let's keep that in mind again. Foot pegs are located perfectly on BMW, but then in Honda, those foot pegs are quite a bit further forward, and well, it's just different there. The handlebar is of a nice width. On both, the knee angle is right, I believe, for me, for my liking, and I wouldn't feel cramped on either, which is great. So which one do I prefer in the end? I feel that it would be Honda, mostly because of the softer and lower seat. BMW feels a bit too tall, unnecessarily tall to me, I would say. But both of them I would rate high. The fifth area to assess is wind protection, and here I've got a bit of a difficulty when it comes to comparisons, as Honda gave me the Transalp with a taller accessory windscreen. It's awesome, so I'll fully praise it, and it would win with anything else in the segment, but I'm not sure if that's fair since it's an accessory. Honda doesn't have it adjustable, but so is in BMW. Just that BMW's standard windscreen isn't very good, and over 100 kilometers per hour it's in fact bad. But I'm leaving this as it is with a comment that if you care about wind protection, then Honda has you covered with their accessory windscreen that I may confidently recommend, at least most of you guys. If you are too short, you may be looking a lot through it, but you may also get used to that. All right, what about the brakes? All good on BMW's side as usually, but on Honda's there is a surprise. Transalp has good brakes. One of them, the front one, needs some squeeze to bite hard, but there is likely the best rear brake in the world on it. Better even than BMW. Now, it's actually amazing. Then the rear brake lever is very hard to reach due to its position, which ruins experience. More on that in my full honest review of the bike, linked in the description. But it is a win to Honda. Very unexpected and very respected. Then there's drivetrain to talk about, and what is there to talk about if both motorcycles use change solutions? Well, nothing. Both go the simple way, and we don't have that much to talk about, and there is no winner here. Moving to the topic of fuel tanks, it's going to be quick, as BMW gives the bike 14.5 liters of capacity, which is definitely not much, if actually not very little. But Honda does give us 16.9 liters, which isn't so much better, but it is better. So it's a win for Honda. So now the weight. Honda comes with 208 kilograms with fuel, and it feels very light, while BMW is 219 kilograms, also doesn't feel particularly heavy. But Honda does it better as the bike feels easier to move, especially when pushing it around. This may just as well be because Transalp appears shorter, but who actually knows? Well, I know that my impression is that Honda feels slightly easier to manage around, and so it wins. Let's talk about the tech. And unconventionally, let's point out what they don't have. And here Honda comes with no cruise control, no cornering front light, no tire pressure monitoring system, no keyless ignition, no fuel cap that is keyless, and apparently ABS that's not cornering. Or this BMW does not have cornering front light, but all others may be there. To clarify, both have LED front lights, and they can have brilliant quick shifters. Other equipment options like heated grips and riding modes can be there too. Well, BMW wins in terms of available equipment options, obviously, or not obviously. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we may finally focus on what are the most important aspects of motorcycling in today's world, especially in the adventure segment. It's the exhaust sound. Yes, a key element in which these two bikes are amongst the best in the segment, if not being the two top bikes in there actually. Honda sounds deep and aggressive, while BMW with that factory-fitted Akrapovic sounds awesome. It sounds awesome throughout the whole RPM range, especially in the dynamic riding mode, and it's got that fire in it. This is very exciting and may even give it a slight edge over Honda. But both are great as stock, and just because of a bit more fun in BMW, I would choose it as a winner. I haven't tested these in off-road conditions, and I don't think that I would be brave enough to take the Transalp up there, but I also don't think that it's the main focus of these bikes. I'm actually convinced, but if I were to choose the one on which I would be less worried, it would be BMW. Again, you would need a professional off-road rider and a course to make a whole separate assessment of this in order to learn which bike would let you go further into an extreme situation. Both will handle a gravel road fine, but my initial pick would be BMW. So in the end, this category doesn't count to me. Design? BMW F900 GS is a new bike for 2024, and Honda refreshed its Transalp for 2025 with some tiny changes, mostly to the looks, but the bike seems pretty much the same overall as it used to be. It's a very personal thing and a matter of taste, while in my books of design, BMW looks very good and Honda looks good. So I prefer BMW, and that's my pick. You tell me which you guys like more in terms of design. The one category before the last one is price and value for money. And well, one thing that Honda beat everyone else in is this area, as in comparison with the base BMW F900 GS, XL750 Transalp is 25% cheaper. Or looking from the other perspective, BMW is 33% more expensive, and that's a lot. To me, without going so much into the explanations, having two really good, enjoyable motorcycles that don't do anything in a bad way and come from two good and respected brands, these differences in percentages are large, and to me, Honda is a clear winner here. Also, its base price makes it look like a real bargain today in comparison with anything else on the market, and it's a Honda. So good one, and thank you, Honda. Now the last one, the X Factor. We may define it differently, but in BMW I see that aggressive character, I see great performance and sound, and I consider these to be exciting things in it. Honda has a nicely sounding exhaust, which is exciting to me, but BMW also has that, while having a few other things that actually also make me want to jump on it and ride around just for fun. I would pick the BMW if I were to choose based on my excitement, and so on the X Factor. Honda handles great, but not to the point of blowing my mind. So to sum up, Honda scored better than BMW in handling, suspension, in seat and position comfort, in brakes, wow, that's surprising, in fuel tanks, weight, and price and value for money. BMW wins this comparison in engine and performance, tech, sound, design, and X Factor categories. We leave wind protection out of it because of Honda's accessory windscreen. Remember, it's not about how many categories which bike wins at, as each of us may have 20 other areas of comparison in their mind and score these two differently anyway in all of those. My thing here is to tell you what it looks like from my perspective, having written everything that's out there to write in this segment and being able to compare all of them with no bias. But which one would I want to take home and why? Considering that Transalp is a calmer, more comfortable bike that handles better in my opinion, and I value these aspects highly, I would choose BMW. Yeah, I know. I still care about the X factor and how crazy and stimulating this bike is to me. And in the mid-size adventure category, I wouldn't ride such a bike on long trips to appreciate its comfort or spend so much time in the mountains to appreciate its great handling. It's a long way there. For me, it would be more of a fun toy, unlike a large adventure bike that I would be willing to do more serious stuff with and not only ride around for fun or during commuting. Because of that, especially considering BMW's new fun style, I would choose a bike that is more exciting to me, which is that. Please let me know what you guys would choose and why. And to learn more details, watch my full honest reviews of these two that are linked in the video's description, and see you there.